Action.
Hey, single gents and singleettes. This is Live Talk with Miss Athena, and you have tuned in to Why Are You Still Single podcast. I ask that you subscribe and you like and you share. We have our guest in the house today. You know him as Fat Check. I know him as the man of God. Let's welcome Fact Check to the Why Are You Still Single podcast. Hey,
Good
Fact
afternoon.
Check, how are you?
All is well, my sister. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Why Are You Still Single podcast. And I ask y'all out there, why are you still single? Let's get into it. So, Fact Check, I just couldn't wait for this interview with you because you
Hey,
being you
yeah,
being married through a lot of different stages. I just want to say that when you first met your wife back in the day, tell me a little bit about that. How did you know that she was the one?
we gotta remember we was kids, and at church, of course. And I don't know. It just when I seen her, that was it. I just felt something. That was it. That was just completely it. And I told her then. We was like maybe 11 years old. I told her then, you gonna marry me? Watch. It took her a few
You know
years to get.
what? I appreciate you saying that because, it is often said that the man always knows that the woman is the one. And I think that in this generation, we've gotten so far away from the man knowing that the woman is the one. I appreciate you saying that. So you're 11 years old. You look at her and you say, "You gonna marry me?" So you guys get older. You start dating. Tell me a little bit about how that went. When it after the
I
11
don't
years
know.
old, you can't date at 11 or
I don't
30.
know if I don't know if she will allow me to divulge that information because her mother's still around. No, but no, I mean we would only see each other for the most part at church, and after church, that was during them days where we was in church all day. And so we would leave. We would get out of church about 3, go get something to eat, and then we'd be back at church at 6. So that was normally the time I would spend with her. But we was on the phone, all day, every day. That what you doing? What you doing? That you know how we used to when we was kids do the day they text now, but it was different then. But scripture said,
Yeah,
man, he that findeth the wife findeth a good thing. So I found her. She
and
search.
you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because in today's culture, if you had to find your wife in today's culture, what would you think? What loops do you think you would have to go through?
I had an advantage because she knew me already. But then you
Okay,
got, so I mean, but coming back into her life, times was different. She didn't know heartache when we first met. She never knew nor did I. We never knew what heartbreak felt like. I mean, if you want to be honest, we didn't know what real love, quote unquote, was. At least that's what our grandparents used to say. Um, but um, but today she probably wouldn't even talk to me. If I just walked up to her, she probably wouldn't say 2 words. Considering from what I know from her interactions with certain type of men, she probably wouldn't have said anything to me. I probably would have had to really work at it. But me being who I was, she also had an advantage because I knew her.
right,
Because I had went through what I had gone through, so I was quote unquote arrogant when I was young. So she's supposed to have how to let me in that case.
right,
But I doubt if she would even utter 2 words to me. I doubt that.
right. I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking when you're talking about you all being 11 and having the culture of church around you guys, you're fresh. You don't know hurt. You don't know what love is, and so it's fresh. Um, I have a question. Do you think that this generation has been so damaged by bitterness that they can't even decipher how to even start not to get into a relationship?
Nope, because I don't think they've been hurt yet. They
Really?
don't they don't know what that is yet. They think they know. I mean,
Okay.
at when you get to especially how they meet, they don't even court these days. It's just how do you get to know? They everything is so blunt, and indirect.
Mhm.
And we really courted. We had to impress y'all. Today they don't have to do nothing. They feel like they, especially young men, they feel like they got it already. So if they got the shiny grills and the shoes and whatnot and the money or whatnot, they feel they got it already. So then the females is flocking to that. So what are they doing to work for them? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and to your point, I totally agree. They have nothing to work for. But do you think that could be a cover up for not trying to be bitter or do have bitter feelings? Is it
No,
a
that's
bitter feeling that's causing them to be direct so that they can bypass the courting and possibly being hurt or bitter?
well, no, that comes from them just adapting to their culture. It's a part of it's in the music. Name me one love song that PJ Martin didn't create or the artist her didn't create that these young kids listen to. Name me one. But we can go back before our time. We can go to the Isley Brothers. We can go to Anita Baker. We can go to Luther Vandross, Freddie Jackson, James Ingram. We can do that. And then if you come up to our generation, we still had New Edition. We still had Mary J. Blige. We still had R. Kelly. I don't care what nobody say. I still listen to the man music. He just crazy as hell. So was Michael Jackson. But they don't. It's just how things just come together. They coming together different, and they're not even trying to understand. They just jump into it. We got women getting pregnant by men they only known for 2 months. Well, how did you know him? What kind of man was he? I mean, then you're going to look back to what's going on in a home. Was daddy there? I'm a father of 4 girls. My goal is to make sure my girls know they're special. They know that they're loved, that they know they're appreciated. And they can fall back on how I treat their mother. So they can make a judgment call like, hold on, I ain't never seen my father do my mother nor my stepmother like this. So what the hell you think you doing?
Good point. Good point. Now, do you have a majority of single male friends around you or married?
Oh boy. I think most of my friends are probably single, to
Do you
be
hear
honest.
the conversations in the room where they're talking about why they're not married? Like, for instance, like when I'm around my female friends that are single, they're always talking about men being bitter. Do you hear that men say, I don't want to deal with these bitter women? Do you ever hear that as an excuse not to couple up, or what is the excuse for them being single?
Half of them don't want to be married. For
Okay.
what? They look at the scenario, it's 10-1, 7-1, depending on where you go. And most of the women are turning the men off because of how easy they are. Men want to, we ain't gonna tell it, we don't like weak women. We accept them, but we don't like weak women at all. So they come that way. Today, anyway.
Yeah.
But when we was
Yeah.
coming up, it was a different ball game.
Yeah.
Totally different.
The standards definitely have changed, and I think that from some of the women that I've encountered, young and old, that there's a bitterness seed in them that makes them cheapen themselves and not have higher standards. And men see through that. Men really see through that. But I think in this generation that women don't think that men see through it. They think that they're a prize because they're easy and the man is giving them that attention. So to the point of the men that you're dealing with, since they can get it easy and don't have to fight for it, does that lessen them as looking for wives? I mean, how does that work?
Well, I didn't say they were completely single. They just weren't married.
Okay. Okay.
So they are mostly, for the most part. I think I have. Let's see, one, two here in the state of California. I probably have two, two married friends. That I mean that we say though we friends we run together. If I call them, they come by. Or I can go by them. Got probably two. The rest of them, they probably got girlfriends that they living with. Got a couple of kids. They playing house, but it's
Hmm.
not a home. You know,
Hmm.
but I don't think those situations, because I mean, I pride myself on hanging around upstanding men. You know, these are men with careers. These are men that take care of their children. They're not just sitting around getting high all day long, or want to ride in the car with you because they don't have one. They all are doing something. So we kind of rub off on each other a little bit, you know. And a few of them, you know, I rubbed off on them a little bit because I've been married the longest. So
Okay.
they kind of see that and kind of admire me for that and look at me like, man, how come you haven't cheated, man? Because when you know she the one and God gave her to you, you don't have that desire.
Right. Right.
I
And
mean, but we
that's a
see
good.
other women. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit up here and say I'm a hermit. No, I see beautiful women. You beautiful yourself. So I see
Yeah.
beautiful all the time. But I'm content. I'm
Yeah.
fine. His grace
Yeah.
is sufficient.
Yes. And I think that piece right there, the piece of just knowing that God being the center keeps you and your wife together, and them seeing it is a witness to them that even though they're shacking up or whatever, they can mature to wanting to commit by saying that they can't do it by themselves. They do need God to help and stuff like that. So, as we kind of wrap it up, I want to ask you to give some words of encouragement to men that are in relationships that may not be God centered, first of all. And then men that are in relationships, want to be in relationships, but just their picker is broke because everything is so easy. First question is encourage the men that are in relationship, but is not God centered. And then the men that they want to be in a marriage relationship, but their picker is broke because the women are so easy. Two
The first,
encouragements.
the first one, there's a scripture that says that talks about being unequally yoked. And too often we stay in relationships too long when we know they are not the one, but we try to force it. And their job was to teach us something, it was to show us something, but we try to make that season forever. And it turns into hell anyway. Let's just be honest. Everybody's guilty of it. So to that gentleman, you'll know when school is out. Let's say that. You know, when she has done her job, and a lot of us men don't want to admit to that. Certain relationships we've gone through has taught us. I tell my wife all the time, the last relationship I was in taught me how to treat you. So the first one I hurt, but then the second one hurt me. So God said, okay, fine, you ready for her. So now you won't hurt her. You'll see her in a different light. You'll take care of her. You will cherish her. You'll walk with her no matter what happens. She gets sick, you right there. She break a leg, you right there. She go broke, guess where you gonna be? Right there. You go broke, guess where she gonna be? So once you after school is out, you set up. Um, that's how I feel about that one. But what was the other question? I lost it.
The other question is to the men that are in relationships and they want to commit in marriage, but their picker is broke because the women are so easy.
Ooh. Well, they need to actually same scripture. But you tell that woman, don't waste her time, because you won't get these years back, and don't waste yours, because before you know it, you might be 50, and the right one don't walk past you because you done settled. That's what that sounds like. You just settling because it's easy. She got one particular thing. It's that 80-20 rule. That what movie was that? Think Like a Man. Was it Think Like a Man? I think it was Think Like a Man.
Yeah, think like a
That,
man.
yeah, everybody
Yeah,
talk about that 80-20 rule, and
yeah.
sometimes we want to hold on to that 20, if that makes sense. I still say,
Hmm.
I mean, to that gentleman, the one who you need, the one in your backbone, the one that's going to add to you. And I'm not talking about monetary anyway. I'm talking about that one that makes you get up in the morning. That one that'll make you want to come home at night. That one that'll make you go buy flowers just because it's Wednesday. The one that'll make you say, you know what, baby, don't you do nothing. I'm gonna cook for you as soon as I get home from work. She out there. That one that you want to be that man to. We gotta sometimes we try to be so hard and be so dominant and be so masculine. And I mean, it's just to a certain extent, you got to be you, but that woman still needs to know that she got a part of you no one has ever had. So you have to let go of some stuff. But that woman that's going to pierce your heart strong enough for you to let go of some things. Oh, she out there.
Very well said. I thank you so much, Fat Check, for all the knowledge and wisdom, godly wisdom. And ladies, I want to tell you too that bitterness and hurt is inevitable, but you do not have to stop at that door or settle for less. You are the best thing that ever happened to any man. Know your standards, don't sell yourself short, and be humble, be gracious, serve the man, and he will serve you. Be loving and kind, and you shall find that singleness will end soon. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Why Are You Still Single podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share and comment because your voice is valid. We're out. Thank you.